Welcome back to my workshop. Now it's March 2021 and as you know, most of the children are going back to school in England. Now a lot of them have been doing homeschooling for the last year almost. So I'm going to make a couple of awards for a couple of kids that have been homeschooling and this is just to say well done for actually applying themselves to learning. Okay, I've got a couple of pieces of wood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some awards. Let's get designing. Okay, so it's going to be a fairly simple design. The wood I've got to work with is this, which I have no idea what it is. I think it's a bit of sapele. It's a bit of an old door frame, but it's hardwood, so this should be good. And I've also got this, which actually come off a garden bench, and I can use that as a base. Okay, and the basic design is going to be, let's bring you into my design studio here. Okay, and what I'm going to plan on doing is probably a wooden star like this, something like this, just with a name in the middle and some words around here, then this is going to be mounted on the base like this, and somehow. Okay, this is the basic plan. So this is going to involve a bit of CNC work and the rest of it's going to be probably a lot of bandsaw stuff. Okay. Let's get going. Okay, so I'm over here on the CNC machine. Because my bandsaw didn't quite cut these parallel, because I need a new blade, I basically put it on the CNC machine and using a normal router bit, I've surfaced it so they're flush. Okay, luckily for me, using Vectric Aspire for my CNC work, there's a star creation program, and I basically created a small star. Let's show you what detail I've got in now. Okay, so it's just got the name and Homeschool Superstar 2020-2021. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly carve that with a little V-bit into my workpiece and then cut the star out afterwards. Okay, get on with that. Okay, so the star's done. Got to cut it out now on the bandsaw. Let's do that. Okay, so that's now cut out. It's had the engraving done. It's not very deep though, so I'm going to have to be very careful when I do some sanding. Just about see that. Okay, so I'll have to be very careful. The edges are a little bit rough, so obviously I've got to either file those or sand those somehow. Right, I'm going to make the other one now, so they're both the same. Okay, so the second star is now off the CNC machine. I've managed to make the letters slightly bigger here, but it did mean they come closer to the edge. So a little bit more dressing up there to do. Right, what I'm going to do is give these a quick coat of this stuff, which is shellac. Okay, it's AGW Wood Care Products shellac. And then what I can do is once I've given this a quick coat, I can let it dry and then I can go through the letters with some black acrylic paint. Okay, but I'll do this first just to give me a little bit of a barrier, so when I sand it back all I'm left with is the black lettering. Okay, so I'll give this a quick coat, leave it to dry, and then we'll do some painting. Okay, so now the shellac is dry. What I've got now is a little acrylic painter pen. Okay, so it's basically like a felt tip pen, but it's acrylic paint. And all I'm going to do is fill in all of the letters. Okay, and the idea is when I sand it back, it'll just leave the black. Okay, so this sort of process and go in all the letters. Okay, so let me carry on with that. Okay, so I've got the letters in there now. Before I sand this all down, what I want to do is straighten up all these edges, because if you look where I cut it on the bandsaw, it's all a bit ropey. So what I'm going to do is use my random ball sander and just basically clean these up and then finish them by hand. So let's get on with that. Right, before I start the base, what I want to quickly do is put my brand on the back of these. I've got my branding iron from Von Hank is now mounted in this drill press. Let's see if this works. Okay, so all I want to do is put it on the back. Okay, I'm just going to put this in my drill press. Oh, a bit burny. Right, do a bit of sand. Okay, that'll do. Okay, so for the base, I'm just going to use this piece of wood, which was off an old garden bench. And literally these are going to be like this. And I've got a rod, a chrome rod here, which is going to go in the bottom of the star into the base. So basically I want 2 bits of this. Don't know how big yet. Let's just chop it up and find out. Probably about that big. Okay, 2 bases, and probably going to round the corners off. Right, next thing, drill a hole in the bottom of this and insert one of these. Okay, so for each of the bases, basically I want to round off the corners now. So all I'm going to do is use something round. I'm going to use one of my tokens and just basically draw around it like this. And then take that over to the sander and sand it round. So let me do all those. Better put my glasses on. Okay, so I've got to make sure that when I put the rod in this star, that it's actually straight, because otherwise it's going to sit on the pedestal a little bit on the wonky. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a vise. It's an engineer's vise here, and because these shoulders are flat, I'll put it in there like that, and then use my drill press to make sure I drill the hole straight-ish. Okay, then I'll just chop down 2 pieces of this, probably use hacksaw for that. So let me get on with all that lot. Okay, so I've got my holes in the bottom of these. My rod fits in there. The bases, I just basically want a single hole in the middle of each. So I mark those up quickly. Just corner to corner, strike a line, corner to corner, strike a line. Okay, on my drill press, I've got the drill set to a certain depth, so it's not going to go all the way through. So all I've got to do is plunge a hole. But first, bradle, poke, poke. It's going to drill some holes. Okay, so the bases are now done. All the corners rounded, and I've actually put on a little taper around the edge here. All I've got to do now is hit the whole lot with a bit of wax. I'm going to use some of this natural creamed beeswax. And you literally just put it on and then buff it off. So let's do a bit of that. Ooh. Right, so all I've got to do now is a little splash of super glue to stick them all together. I'm going to put the glue in the wood and then spray the activator on the rod. So here, 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 here. Right, let's have a look at some beauty shots. Right, so that's it, it's all done. I hope you enjoyed that project. It was just a little thing to say well done to the boys for homeschooling. So they'll get one of these each. I think they're quite nice actually. Got me a little brand on the back which makes them even nicer. So I hope they like these. I enjoyed making them. And that's about it for this one. Right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye. So to about that big. That'll do.